On May 24, 2015, Pope Francis issued a papal letter known as an encyclical to all bishops of the Roman Catholic Church. Laudato Si, or On Care for Our Common Home, stresses sustainability and respect for the earth, humanity's common home, that is deteriorating from the effects of human self-interest and greed culminating in worsening climate change, with extreme weather events being the results. By addressing planet Earth as a home, the Pope's idea of human common is based on the doctrines of medieval philosopher St. Thomas Aquinas, who argued that the common good of the state cannot flourish unless the citizens be virtuous. But how can such an old teachings have bearings in today's world? In Laudato Si, the Pope demonstrates the discursive power of the Catholic Church by interpreting Holy Scripture in a way that will be disseminated among millions of followers in a short notice, thus defining what is normal and acceptable and what is unthinkable to not just the millions of Catholics predominant in Europe, Latin America, and the Philippines, but also people of all faiths in the entire world. This constitutes structural power in utilizing the makeup of societies. By making a call to action, the Pope implies that humanity must realize the error of its ways before it is too late and make remedy to its ecological debt.
Although it may seem like he is asking for a miracle, the real miracle lies in Pope Francis's ability to keep mention of religion in Laudato Si to a minimum, so that readers of all faiths and beliefs may find merit in his arguments. The Pope urges humanity to shift away from a technocratic paradigm, which he describes as how the economy accepts every advance in technology with a view to profit, without concern for its potentially negative impact on human beings. Finance overwhelms the real economy of human welfare. He is not saying that advances in technology aren't vital for human existence. However, only that they should be better focused on furthering the welfare of the destitute and disadvantaged instead of seeking a profit. For example, by using genetic engineered crops to provide a secure food supply to the world's growing number of poor. In being a worldwide invitation to peoples of all faiths to care for the earth, Laudato Si views the planet as a living body of God instead of only being an object he created. Since humans are dependent on all parts of the body, it is thus dependent on all parts of earth. This is similar to the views of other Christian eco-theologists such as Ivan Gabara and Sally McFaig, who seek to make Christianity more environmentally conscious, since it has been argued that religion is responsible for more environmental degradation than any other, due to its anthropocentric worldview.
Beyond his deployment of the Catholic Church's discursive power to frame narratives and structural power to appeal to followers, Pope Francis has additionally used its material power and resources to form a new dicastery or department to coordinate with governments and organizations on addressing issues of environment, migration, justice, and healthcare. However, the Church critically lacks the rule-based power to actively enforce its own mandates. Although Laudato Si has received rave reviews from numerous Catholic organizations, the Pope's blasting of consumerism and capitalism has riled free market advocates in the form of American think tanks. The director of the Action Institute criticized the overwhelming attribution the Pope placed on market economics, rather than sin for the world's environmental and social damage, while the founder of the Cornwall Alliance for the Stewardship of Creation claims that the policies Francis recommends would make it more difficult to overcome poverty.
These organizations are front for the wider climate denial movement, overseen by corporations that have a vested interest in resisting efforts to regulate them, namely those pertaining to the fossil fuel industry. For instance, the Cornwall Alliance is actually a division of the Heartland Institute, which has received funding from oil and gas companies such as ExxonMobil. By using their material power as billion-dollar industries to establish numerous think tanks that operate as research institutes, the climate deniers come to possess rules-based power by giving recommendations to government officials who make, interpret, and enforce legislation and environmental policy. This in turn translates into discursive power, as these officials then disseminate their arguments to the public in order to gain and maintain popular support for such policies or legislation. However, the climate denial movement does not have a firm grasp on structural power, as the demographics of societies are perpetually in change. In the United States, the growing number of Catholics in a historically Protestant-dominated country is being reflected in the increasing number of Catholics in Congress, rising from only 100 in 1961 to 168 in 2017. If the widespread acclaim of Laudato Si among Catholics is anything to go by, Pope Francis's vision of humanity caring for a common home should not be discounted as fantasy.
But I believe that the times require imagination and courage and perseverance. I'm asking each of you to be pioneers towards that new frontier. My call is to the young in heart, regardless of age, to the stout in spirit, regardless of party, to all who respond to the scriptural call, be strong and of good courage, be not afraid, neither be dismayed. For courage, not complacency, is our need today. Leadership, not salesmanship. And the only valid test of leadership is the ability to lead and lead vigorously. Then shall we be equal to the test. Then we shall not be weary. Then we shall prevail.